They're not in the regular map pool anymore, so you don't see them unless it's in custom games. Cold Tower 1 is such a classic map. We love it, and it's been pretty commonly used, I think, worldwide even at this point, for Wesker to be on Cold Tower. So Gibbsy going to be taking the throne here for Kaitokids, as Narrows looks like it's going to be the first chase at Shaq, and uh-oh, watch where we're going, team. Let's not sandbag each other.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of get caught out trying to make your rotations at the very beginning of the game, and we all know what that's like. Trying to be a little bit too stealthy and ultimately getting caught at one of either main or shack, depending on where you had spawned, regardless. Our survivors here are re-stealthing like clockwork, and Gibbsy is now forced to look for another chase, and we've evaded very nicely on the side of Nortor. Gibbsy now rotating over to 11, anticipating that the rotations to the top generators have been made, and yes, they have. It is Two Teacher first in chase, just evading that bound very nicely, vaulting the window, forced into the bottom half of the map here. Will Gibbsy follow up this chase? Or has he seen somebody over it too? He's diverted, and he seemed to caught a glimpse of Stay Naros here, who's forced to use his pallet over at 3, pre-dropping it very nicely and winning the 50-50 mind game. We've kind of got a little bit of an ahead on the side of Gibbsy, and up goes the bound, and hopefully we can get our quick tag nice and early, but no, putting it back in the back pocket, and again, doing a little bit of wacky mind games there around the pallet. That's going to spell the first tag of the trial, maybe a consecutive down here to finish it all off at the very beginning, but Stay Naros here. Now vaulting the window once, very patient, bound from Gibbsy, unfortunately not quite connecting, and that's going to enable maybe just a little bit more of a better chase than what we anticipated earlier on in the trial here, Spoker.
Ooh, really, really nice patience from Naros there at the shack window. It's just a tried and true method of holding that check spot and just faking out that window. Worst case scenario, you make it back around to the shack pallet. Anyway, that brutal strength zoning is going to probably spell the down here for Naros. Uh-oh, he came around the other side of shack and is going to, almost made it to the generator to dodge that second bound, but is going to be getting hooked. Doing the perfect job though for Diamond Dogs here, keeping the chase in the corrupt part of the map. We should be seeing a gen actually probably getting pain resed here right before it pops. That is so unfortunate, but we should get at least 2 gens from that first chase if Gibbsy isn't able to interrupt. And we do find he's getting eruption on the water tower gen, but the top side setup is probably going to get cracked here.
Yeah, slowly but surely applying the eruption to all these generators. Scout, I don't really think he can afford to go back and tunnel out, being this far into the map now, really searching for his stealthing survivors. Or he hasn't really overcommit there to looking for the survivor working over at 11. Has opted to try and cut off this survivor over at 2 and hold his gens a little bit more. But unfortunately, as the spectators, we'd known that they had been working those generators moments ago. So there's 3 generators there, 2 which have been done, 1 with very high progress. And now Gibbsy is forced to kind of protect this hook here. He can't play for any more stages on any fresh survivors. I don't think he can really afford to give up this hook. And, you know, Two Teacher straight on the case here. And wait, Nortor's there too for the double save potentially here. So maybe going to bait chase out with one of the survivors. Oh my God, he's just missed the bound entirely. No, that is so unfortunate. And we get the pull for free. No tag at the cost of it. No down as well. Stay Naros now. Flipping the map a little bit, going to the top side, taking chase here. Has another extra 5 seconds via the endurance status effect. And he is just escaped everything right now. Gibbsy, fortunate enough to get that down though. Straight back on a hook, Stay Naros will go. And now the survivors have to recollect, make sure they uphold the gen pressure on the bottom side, and then get the save when able to do so over at the top side. Granted that we managed to hook the top side, but I think we're hooking into the middle, which is a plus for our killer. I mean, Gibbsy now able to hold the gens that he needs to in this current scenario.
Yeah, it's moments like these that you really realize the true strength of folks like Iron Grasp and Agitation and White. Oh, wow! That's really unfortunate for Two Teacher. They're still getting the pallet drop, but getting hit straight to it. Normally you see that on a big ping difference. Now, that was an FTP, I believe, onto Naros, but we still have to get that spray off as well. So Nordo's going to be doing the right thing and taking the aggro here. Not going to be able to go for the tunnel. Gibbsy really has to. Oh, it's just like clockwork. Beautiful stuff at this exact same jungle gym. Going to be getting another fresh hook, hopefully onto this pain res hook. We hear the spray. We know where our tunnel out is. The question is going to be, is Gibbsy going to go and commit for that tunnel out, or try and play for the progression on the bottom side gens?
think honestly he should probably play around the generators if I was to make an assumption, but then again, I'm not the one playing. But regardless, this is going to be Gibbsy following up Chase here onto True Teacher, but just diverting and going back to the hook to make sure we can cut off the rotation in time. They're staying now our once upon a time tunnel out, rotating back to the bottom side generators, and Nortor now off the hook. He's going to be taking Chase over at 2. Now playing the check spots very nicely here. Does he win the mind game though? The standstill mind game, absolutely crazy. Pallet goes down. Does he manage to evade the bound? No, he doesn't. The second one just catches the tail end, and in the background, if you have a keen eye, you will see a double and a single. The single happening over at Shaq, the double happening over at 7. I don't know if they get these generators done in time. This will be very close, and they've opted to leave. They know they're not getting it in time, as the hook is fairly close towards that double generator. I think Quinn's pretty safe and happy to just work that generator over at Shaq, as he knows he doesn't really have a care in the world. He knows it'll be very disadvantageous to Gibbsy if he were to commit that. So he's opted to kick 7 here and go back to see if he can potentially find a fresh here. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, he really needs that pain resonance hook is what I was about to say, and a very nice bound is going to spell that for him.
Yeah, no, Gibbsy's doing a really good job at bringing this back. And it was also really interesting seeing 2 Teacher getting use out of alert there. I feel like that's another really slept on perk. I don't know how commonly used it has been throughout a lot of the sets, but it's honestly one of my favorite info perks, and it's really nice seeing it get the value there, as Gibbsy's going to be looking around here for potential rotates. Naros is doing a really good job at still playing very aggressive while also being the Deathhook survivor, because you got to remember, as soon as that last gen gets done, Naros is going to be the one. Oh, beautiful stun though, but still gets the bounce grab. It doesn't get the tag over the pallet. Oh my goodness. I don't know if he knows about life or not, but Gibbsy might have been expecting a life, but no, he gets the bound hit. You can really tell that this is not Gibbsy's first rodeo. He knows exactly how to use his bound around these jungle gyms, and it's so impressive to see.
And he really wants this down quickly now. This is his Deathhook survivor, as we said moments ago. Getting a little bit stunned there. Just getting away with so many egregious techs there. My God, yeah, he probably should have played patient there a little bit more. I mean, wow, to be able to last that long on 130 ping though, regardless, over at 8, and even in his previous chases is just absolutely incredible. So we do see in the background that Quinn is straight back on that generator with the most progress in the trial, whereas both of the survivors, Nortor and 2 Teacher, kind of caught at a loss here at their generator. But as we do take the kick onto 7, it does look like 3 is going to be popping in our face, and there it is, 3, 2, 1. We are all ready to be getting outs. We're set up for outs, and now Gibbsy really trying to find the stealthing survivor. We know that they're in a locker, but he does not. We see the scratch marks leading around the lockers there, but we don't want any of it. We are chasing one of the injured survivors here, 2 Teacher. Ideally, he'd want Quinn in a scenario like this, as he is worth the most amount of points, but in all honesty, the next best thing is 2 Teacher. Now, I guess a plus in the favor of our killer is that 2 Teacher is injured, and right now it's going to be extremely hard for the survivors to be able to pull 2 Teacher out alive if we're not able to get bodies in right about now. He does have a lot of distance to make up for over at 5 to get through the gate, but I think the survivors are just going to be taking the outs as we do take the grab onto 2 Teacher, which will spell this 7. Oh, hang on. My math isn't correct. Yeah, 8-stage game. Yes, sorry.
Nah, that's all right. Honestly, the way that this game was going with the first hook at pretty much 2 gens remaining, this was looking like it was going to be a 6-stage at best. So Gibbsy being able to get this result is very incredible, and really just goes to show why so many people are rooting for Kaitokids right now. We saw Gibbsy for Kaitokids getting 8 stages, 2 kills, I believe. So we're going to see if we have Quinn on the killer for this time, and we'll see what they have in store for us, as we see a very predictable bottom side spawn, as Gibbsy's really taking his time to enjoy the scenery here.
I think they're suffering from ping issues.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Are we about to see them all DC, or oh, looks like they're locked in?
Nope, they're playing it out. Seems to be all good, all in the clear. Hopefully our refs can give us confirmation if there is something wrong, but nevertheless, we'll be following up this match with, yes, a 7-stage win condition for our survivors, 9-stage win condition for our killer. And now, going to be taking that tag onto Super Source very nice and early, way earlier than what you see last match, and that is a down way earlier than what you saw last match. My God, not too sure if ping would have played a part there. That will be Supersaurus going down in a fairly favorable spot for our killer. Going to be hooking just in front of main here. Now, is this a pain resonance hook? We'll have to wait and see. Not too sure if it was. If we can get a quick switch around to where our killer is at the moment. Thank you very much. It was not a pain resonance hook, but we have brought pain resonance alongside brutal strength, corruption, and corrupt intervention. But throwing that survivor there, Gibbsy, just into the wall there. Very nice grab there from Quinn. And now we're going to be following up the tunnel out here. That's a very early pull, and you can get punished for it in the future. We do get a nice tag onto Philly. Do we commit Philly or do we commit the tunnel out Supersaurus? And we've opted to go for Supersaurus, a little bit hesitant, as sacrifice a little bit of distance on the side of our killer. But we do see the scratch marks leading into deep pocket bottom, and that's exactly where you want to be taking the chases here. As you did see moments ago, 3 survivors were just working the top side generators. We do have the body if we need it on the side of Ranger, and they're going to be going with some crazy mind games there around Shaq, but unfortunately we're going to be seeing straight through it with alerts. And yeah, that's what you were alluding to a little bit earlier, Spoker, was just, yeah, alert is a very good perk against the Wesker. You do tend to see it being brought a lot fairly in every single Wesker set that you do typically see this season. So able to see when the killer kicks the generator, able to see when he breaks doors, and that wacky mind game over at Shaq just aiding us very nicely. But following up here over at 8, nice dodge there. Wow, my Supersaurus here needs to put on the Super Jets because he needs to last for his team at this current time. Getting caught out at the T there a little bit. Maybe a late mind game can spell the tag. Norian, we've read the mind game perfectly. We break away from the loop. We do. It's crazy. Take it away, Smokey. He's going nuts right now.
He's taking at these TLs, bro. You always play the TLs on ping. Supersaurus is going nuts right now, and this is just the greatest feeling ever until we just don't make it to the pallet. But we get 2 gens popping for our second hook. This is still very recoverable, I would say, for the side of the Diamond Dogs here, as you know, we're getting the second stage as the 2 gens are popped. It's a similar pace to the last game, except Quinn is doing a much better job of getting to this state of the game faster than the last trial. So our survivors here really have got to lock in. If Kaitokids want to secure the 7 point, we're going to need to see gens cranking, we're going to need to see this reset happening, and we're going to need to see that double save come through while we constantly have someone working a good gen. And honestly, main probably isn't the best gen to be working right now, but I don't really think they have many other options.
I think that they do, and with a power position like this, I think our killer will be able to just secure the remaining stage onto Supersaurus for the tunnel out at what seems to be maybe 2 generators remaining at this current time, unless we get the save here. We do have Ranger set up in position besides this pallet, and we do have the double sitting over at main. So again, power up with Quinn. He has to throw, Ranger into a dead zone there, but slams him into the rock. He might be able to make the trade. I don't think he does. No, they failed it. That's unfortunate. I know that pain all too well. Sometimes you just get thrown in such an unfavorable position. Was doubling main the play? Maybe it wasn't in this instance. And now Quinn just continuing on his match here. Ranger is forced to vault the shack window into a whole lot of nothing. No pallet, but we've ate the bound there, and we've bumped into the wall. That is main building's generator been finished there. Oh my god, wow! That is absolutely crazy. He's able to make away from that on ping as well. Mind you, we did get confirmation on the ping. It does seem to range around 100 to 140 at the moment, but Ranger should be the survivor on least amount of ping, being from the western side of Australia. And we've evaded the dodges entirely, and this is exactly what I was alluding to before. The ping really aiding him here, but he's just still able to really take this chase into his own matters, into his own hands, greeting the pallet very nicely, opting not to use the window. That's going to be the stun as well, breaking away, smash hit away. He has the L wall to be working with. 1 volt, 2 volt, fakes the 3rd volt, but momentarily goes with it, and then unfortunately gets hit after vaulting the L wall, and that will spell the first stage onto Ranger there. Another pain resonance hook as well to slow the game down just a little bit more for our killer, but very nice stuff from our survivors there.
Yeah, no, this is so incredible, and I love seeing when ping interactions really get showcased in events like this. Quinn had to play for the gens here and not really play around the hook, so the serves have obviously capitalized on that and played for a very aggressive pull, as Ranger is getting tagged here as we It's very interesting seeing the decision making at these crucial moments of the game, right? This is a very like favorable position for Kaitokids right now on the killer here. I was getting it mixed up earlier. I apologize. It's just the way things are written down. I assume team versus team. Team one is generally killer first. So I apologize for the mix-up, but we are going to be taking a chase here onto, I believe, Gibbsy. So this is another fresh for Quinn, and hopefully a pain res to... Oh, not quite getting the bounds. But yeah, sorry, I was yapping about ping interactions, and... Yeah, no, seeing it with Wesker specifically, there's a lot of times where he just gets completely robbed, and that's just, well, unlucky. That's the ping difference. You gotta live with it. And then you also just hit the most insane stuff as well. There's no in between with this killer and this sort of ping difference.
Yeah, definitely. And now, heading into more recent events here, we do have a generator being worked by Ranger over at 9. He is forced into the corner of 11, and that was the survival we were constantly looking for. Quinn now very happy to take this chase here over at 10. As Pallet Gym does go down, we rotate to the long side, and we break away to the middle of the map. Again, nice dodging work. Ranger definitely being the decider here with his chases, is playing absolutely incredible. As we do drop that pallet, we make back to the Pallet Gym very safely. This is going to be the brutal break zone into 11. But we have RNGesus at our side as we have a rock filler over at 11. We anticipate that the kill is leaving for now, but as we do hear him getting ever so close to where the generators are being worked, we do have the scratch marks leading into 3. This is now the chase onto Gibbsy, but the survivors cannot afford unnecessary tags, but they have been doing very well to evade all unnecessary tags as we do waste 2 of our dashes there to catch up with the distance. Quinn now forced to leave Gibbsy. Nobody here over at 4. Where did the survivor that was working this generator go? He's just hiding behind the rock. Sprint burst in hand. Pallet goes down. Now just making as much distance as he can to the shack. This is going to be the tag at a fairly decent time. He's going to be injured. Now does Quinn follow up the chase, or does he leave for the generator? He has to leave for the generator, because if he commits Philly Fry and Philly Fry dies and we get all remaining survivors out of the trial, it's not enough to take a win at the moment. They'll win by a stage, Diamond Dogs, who have just ran into 6 now. Deep 6. Adrenaline procs, and now he bolts the window and evades everything. They might even be getting all survivors out of the trial right now.
Philly really has to lock in if he wants to get this hatch escape, but I think Quinn is starting to realize, and there it is again. You cannot hit those at the window. The other survivors are leaving. We need to force the tag now, Philly, so we get that hatch. The others are leaving at the perfect time, and he's going to wrap around and get a beautiful hatch escape as the Diamond Dogs will be taking the first set here.
If we were on Hong Kong, our OC survivors would be at 120 to 150 MS with exit lag, and our killer would be on 80 MS. Now that we're on Singapore, we're at 50 for our killer and just about 100 to 110 for our survivors. So everything should be all good and all dandy. Obviously, routing does play a part in that, and everybody's routing is different, but we seem to be all in the clear for future games. Now, it is going to be a spirit set on the records yard. Yeah, well, you're going to be seeing first up the chase here onto Gibbsy into deep 6 here. Going to be pre-dropping that pallet instantly and now making ground all the way into the midsection of 6, and ran into a tree a little bit, but I think that's aided us just slight bit. No, it hasn't. We've just been tagged, unfortunately. Following up here, 2 Teacher. Going to be getting this 2-tap, hopefully, if he can get his power quick enough. 3, 2, 1, I dare say we're going to be using it after Shack pallet is dropped. Yeah, and Gibbsy now making work of this chase. This is turning out to be quite a good chase from him, to be honest with you. We do have access to this 4 pallet, and we do win the mind game there. I thought we were going to go around the long side and get the tag and down on him, Spoker, but I've been sorely mistaken.
Yeah, no, really, really well played from Gibbsy here, and has so many fillers around the shack to be able to utilize, which is obviously what you want to see. And yeah, 2 Teacher sends it, but Gibbsy just full centered as well. Really, really nicely done. And now we've got the crane to go to. We should be having our first gen getting done at least, which opens up more of the map to take the chase to. 2 Teacher going for the swing onto the pallet, but Gibbsy playing distance and going to the back of the car. Should be able to make it to the crane pallet as well. That gen pops right next to this pallet drop, and Gibbsy has just unlocked another section of the map thanks to the help of, I believe it was either Supersaurus or Ranger on that gen. And going to be going for the double back, but 2 Teacher is all on top of it, gets the down, should be able... Oh my goodness, I thought Supersaurus was there for the firecracker save. That would have been nuts, but no, still a good down, but at what cost? We get the pain res onto Philly's gen. We aren't seeing the third gen getting done, but still a very interesting start, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. Retrofate now in the trial though, after that first generator being popped, so you do have access to that pain res and eruption as it currently stands. Getting that nice hook onto Gibbsy there over at 9. Yeah, Supersaurus was ready for that firecracker. You can see him thinking about it too, but now we're going to be pushing Philly Fry off of deep, shallow 6 there, as we do get the unhook in the background. No FTP onto Supersaurus, but that is a renewal, so we'll want to be getting this tag pretty quickly. I want to say, unfortunately getting caught at the mind game of the LNT there. That's going to be Supersaurus going down. No, and the pick
FTP.
to... Was it? Oh, wasn't? Oh, no, sorry, was it FTP? No, my mistake.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Gibbsy was the tunnel out. Okay, I apologize, holy. But now we're going to be taking this hook here over at the 9 section of the map. My god, my macro has been off entirely today. It's in my...
No, you're fine, bro.
Yeah.
You're fine, big fella. You've had a lot to go through so far today, but that being said and done, though, the Wretched Fate totem was revealed. 2Teacher checking around if someone is stealthing for the save. A really nice FTP, by the way, we should note, from Supersaurus, forcing the stages to be spread out. Philly hiding in plain sight. You can never see the stealthing tap when he's out in the open, and instead we're going for poor Ranger here, working the gen where we previously saw the first chase. We should be able to just make this window, but oh, 2Teacher did predict it, and we did get the tag onto Ranger, but the unhook has happened in the distance, and they should have ample time to be able to split and slow things down.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty slow on both sides here, but the Survivors making very good progression throughout the entire match here. We do have everybody in the trial other than Ranger healthy. We do have enough adequate gen pressure in the background. That's going to be Retrofate out of the trial too, so our killer has work to do. This is already looking like stages if you had to put your money on it, basically, but Philly Fry now doing God's work with the stealth there, being able to evade the line of sight of our killer, utilizing this matchstick tile here as we do maneuver all the way over to 7, and that's going to enable Philly Fry to go back on that generator deep 6, but he's playing extra patient, anticipating that 2Teacher will be trying to bait out Philly Fry, and I don't think he's going to be doing anything of the sort. Yeah, he's just going to go for his generator here over at 2. Now, the question is what kind of generators is he looking to hold at this point in time? Because is this the correct chase to be taking, as it is pretty far away from the cluster? We do pre-drop this pallet here over at 3. Winning that 50 is Gibbsy. The life coming into effect is going to allow him to make mid 3, but we've tried to bait the killer out to the pallet and tried to go for a little bit of a walk there, but 2 gens popping in front of your face. No, not a sight to see for our killer, but our Survivors playing absolutely incredible. OC's final hope, as we like to put it at this current time, given the circumstances of two Savage being knocked out of the tournament, they'll want to get revenge for their OC brethren. As we do take that down onto Gibbsy there, 2Teacher back on the case, trying to look for his next chase and simultaneously pressure the hook as well, as he wants to pressure these generators, but not to venture off too far away from the hook. That's going to be Supersaurus in the background, finishing that generator over at the top side as well. So we have a nice little 3-gen here, Shack 7 and Shallow 6, and we can definitely hold this with that hill in the middle of it all. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, looking pretty dicey for our killer, as we don't have anybody out of the trial. We do still have 4 survivors left in the trial. Definitely need somebody dead here, Spoker.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure the Survs realize this as well, as they're looking to double the last gen and maybe have Supersaurus play for the pull. He gets the pull for free. Oh my goodness. And then
yeah, wow,
they just phase back and get the tag on Gibbsy. It's not really viable to play this filler, so Gibbsy kind of just has to take distance all the way to the top of the map as that last gen gets doubled, and 2Teacher is gonna, 2Teacher's gonna get punished for committing to that chase, and instead decides to find where that double is happening, and is gonna find our Survivors working this, get the eruption on, and then play for another down and play for a pain res potentially to get that eruption and pain res on that last gen and really slow things down. So Gibbsy just needs to get reset at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, with that being said, you see him in the background on another totem, and I think he's prepping up his inner healing at the moment. So as we do commit the chase here over at the top side, we have interrupted that totem break as well, I would anticipate. But as the firecracker goes down, we do go down just before the pallet. It's going to be eruption on the generators that have been kicked over at that bot side. Yeah, there's Gibbsy just over at corner 1 there, trying to get rid of that totem as soon as possible. Now, did we hear him and do we go back for the totem? I think you just have to go back to the gens here, and you can't afford to waste your time on Gibbsy, even though you want him out of the trial at this current time. It would be beneficial for Two Teacher to be able to get a nice quick down onto one of our fresh survivors to slow the game down via the pain resonance, as you were saying before. And, you know, having the eruption proc on these generators is the next best thing. It's kind of brought him into a state where he can slow down, recollect himself back in the 3-gen, but he does have to take advantage of these out of position survivors. And as I say that, we see Philly Fry out of position, but he's in position for somebody with sprint burst, as he has made distance all the way down to the top side of the map here. Two Teacher, does he elect to follow this? And he does enter in the phase. Hopefully he can get a quick tag, but unfortunately, where did Philly Fry go? He went back into the gens, and we bamboozled the killer, but we found Gibbsy in the background. If we get a rotation here, back in the phase, this could be problematic for our survivors as we're trying to get the down as quickly as possible, but we swung preemptively into the pallet, but Gibbsy used the window back into the other pallet, which leads to the the second strongest loop in the game, but in the map, sorry. But unfortunately, Spin's going to be able to evade the tag just momentarily. That's going to be Gibbsy going down. If he picks up the hook here, I dare say they're going to be getting that gen over at 7 done in our killer's face. It didn't even matter that we took chase to the crane because crane was thrown anyway, but it's a good death location nonetheless. This is going to be that generator popping in our killer's face at this point in time. It is currently, I want to say, 5 stages. Or was it 4 stages? I can't even remember. It is 5 stages. So we are going to be committing onto Rangek here, who's going to be throwing that pallet. This is the best survivor that we can have in this instance. Now, he's going to be playing for Shaq at this current time. Does have balance standing in hand to make the door. But yeah, no. I think the killer thought what I thought, that they were going for the hatch. But the bodies, the balance, they're just out over at 6. It's absolutely incredible stuff from our survivors once again here, Spoko.
Yeah, no, what an incredible hill. I'm sure that 80% of viewers who are also rooting for Kaitokids will think the same as well. So we will have to wait and see as we load into this trial and we see, I think this is a split corrupt, right?
Does look like that is the case. Yeah, it's looking a bit janky, isn't it? Yeah, you don't even have... It's like Shack 9 and whatever's behind us is open. Yeah, 11, 10, whatever gens we have left over. So quite awkward for Gibbsy, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll find a way and make do with what he has. 6 stages is the win condition for him, 4 stages for our survivors. So our survivors have work to... Yeah, 5-stage tie conditions. So our survivors have work to do. They need to make sure they are efficient with their hook stages as well as their gen pressure to uphold everything. So now Gibbsy hasn't found anybody over at corner 5. We do have somebody prepping up that that inner healing. Yeah, inner strength. I wanted to call it inner healing, inner strength. I didn't know which one I wanted to say, but yeah, getting it ready for when they need it, right? So at the pallet gym, back into the phase, we're looking for that first tag here. As we've heard somebody, but we've done the jiggy and gone all the way down into Shaq with the firecracker dropped. Hopefully getting the blind. No, unfortunately we did not, but we're able to take this chase here over at mid 3, but we've been caught out at a double back here. Running back into the loving embrace of our killer over at 2, getting that slap there very nicely, very quickly. And now Chase following up here over at 3, and we've broken away from it all into an extra nice filler here. And we've opted to greed that as well. Do we have life in hand? Because it'd be crazy. It would be crazy. We just made the death location. It'd be crazy to do that if we didn't have life. I'd be brutally honest with you.
Oh! Wow, that is insane from Two Teacher actually greeting the 4-lane pallet. Should be able to make the window, doesn't go for it. Gibbsy reads them like a book and manages to go. Oh, there's another Z-wall. Is he gonna make it? He does get the down there. These Z-walls, man, I'm telling you, they're the most OP tile in the game and people just keep sleeping on it. And I hate seeing the Z-wall slander. But this will be a really well-timed and well-needed pain res for Gibbsy though, as still expecting to see potentially 2 gens getting done here as Gibbsy manages to find the most progress, but not being able to find the 2 people who are working on it. They have managed to rotate away at the perfect time. No scratch marks, no evidence, and other gens are going to get worked on here as Gibbsy has to either find who was working on this gen, and if he can't find that survivor, then he has to go back to the hook and stop the rotate at a certain point.
Definitely. Now Gibbsy just looking for that next chase, the next survivors to pressure off of the generators that are within close proximity of the hook, but we know that they're working over at 9, somebody working over at 12, and we have interrupted here over at what seems to be the bottom side of the map. No, it is 9 being interrupted. My apologies. Or is it 7? No, 7. Okay, it is 7. My God. Okay, a little bit disoriented, but we're back. So Quinn now going to be playing aggressive, maybe for 4, or just opting to go straight for that unhook, as we would need to get this unhook now. We can't really afford our survivors to go at second stage at a point in time like this. And now Gibbsy trying those wacky body blocks there. That's going to result in a tag. But we were doubling that whole time, and underneath his nose, that is going to be our tunnel out off the hook. So we don't secure the second stage. All of that pressure lost. So 2Teacher now trying to make to the shallow side of 6, opted to greet the pallet. Did he go for the window? He makes it by the skin of his teeth. There was like 0.5 milliseconds left on that, and you got, oh, if Gibbsy were to watch this back, he would be just fuming. Honestly fuming. I'd be fuming there anyway, because that sent like way more than enough time for just, you know, our survivors to venture out of the line of sight of our killer and evade the chase. 15 seconds proving to be a little bit too much in some instances there, and ultimately getting caught at the pallet is 2Teacher, so he will be going down at a fairly strong loop. Another crane. We have 2 cranes on this map at the moment, 1 at 3, 1 at 11. So Gibbsy now going to be taking this pick onto 2Teacher. Now hooked him on the top side of the map. Now, where are our survivors? Because I think we are interrupting the active generators. Yeah, this is not what you want to see and not what you want to be doing for our serves, especially at a time like this where you're so close to the tunnel out. My, oh my, we need to get, again, 2Teacher off of the hook. Can you really afford to let him cook for a little bit here? Because, I mean, at best, they pop 2 generators and you're in the active at the moment. So we are going to be putting immense pressure on these active generators. Gibbsy is just a knower. He knows everything. He is kicking to. He's faking that he's going back to the hook, but ultimately trying to catch out Quinn. And Quinn's not really falling for it. He does have sprint burst in hand and is trying to get our killer lost in the scratch marks, but unfortunately failing to do so. That's going to be a tag. This could be a consecutive down. Yeah, even the champion of light tech when you're injured doesn't really work too well. I mean, look, I just would have tried to make the distance all the way down to bottom, but like, don't mind me. Maybe there was something more in the cards for Quinn to be doing if he were managed to get away with it, but he's going to be slapped back on that hook in front of that generator over at 2. We do have in the background our 8 are working that generator. Stay Naros there. And it isn't 12, but my oh my, we've just put so much pressure on the map for our killer. He's played immensely well here, Spoker.
Yeah, now I know this is entirely the power of hindsight, but I don't like the FTP from Norda here when 2Teacher does have the inner strength up, and the chase was far enough away that I feel like 2Teacher definitely could have wrapped to a safer spot to get the inner strength off, but obviously it's better to play it safe in the heat of the moment, and Norda's just going to be working a gen pretty far away anyway. They'll be pretty safe as we get that 3rd stage on the board for the Diamond Dogs here. And unhook already happening. Gibbsy getting the tag onto Naros, who's been on fire with these unhooks. Let me just say, Naros there for the double save right before the second stage onto 2Teacher, and now getting to utilize the shack here and just having the freedom of choice of where to go to here. And you already know that we're going straight to this crate. Is that enemies? I don't know if this pallet got dropped or not, but I think that one didn't get dropped. I think I'm smoking, but really well used. Beautiful pallet stun from Naros here. Gibbsy making the tough decision to actually commit to the chase here. Got the Husk blocking the pallet, so this should just be the down nice and quick onto Naros here. Going for the pain res. I do respect it, but is 2Teacher gonna pop that gen in time? I don't think so.
Nah, it doesn't look like he will be. Actually, he will be. This wasn't a pain resident hook. My God, okay. Wow. So RNG's just not on our side at the moment. Gibbsy is forced to just take the normal hook. I think he's just trying to play the stages now because he doesn't have much left to go. I mean, another hook, that's going to spell the win for Gibbsy, yeah. So you can't afford to go down in any instance. And unfortunately, Nortor not being able to win the 50-50 on the pallet is going to be picked up now. And that is going to be another set taken away to Diamond Dogs as it currently stands. Our last result was 5-2. This is going to be 5-4. We win on fresh hooks, even though you're tied for hook stages here, ultimately. Yep. So, yeah, with 2 generators left to go, I would even say that this is looking like a 4K if we can manage to get on top of things from Gibbsy's side of things. But, I mean, because you have 2 survivors currently on the hook at the moment. You've pressured off the only survivor working the generators, and 2Teachers just forced to go on a rampant unhook quest at the moment. So, Gibbsy, straight back on the case, is really trying to bait out this survivor, Quinn. Quinn's been really good to play extra patient, but unfortunately now getting caught here over at the generator. That's going to be another tag, and he's just going going to be forced over into 11, but we're not committing it. Gibbsy going back to the unhooks here, trying to catch out the rotation, and I think he's going to do so very nicely. And Nortor playing preemptive on that, knows to go back, and again, it's just unfortunate that we weren't able to get Stay Naros there off before second stage, but ultimately you don't even really have to go for the save. You just have to pressure another generator via a double and then just wait for somebody to get the unhook when we do leave the generator. We have not the best split for our serves. I'll be brutally honest. It's okay. I've seen worse, considering that it's not on one end of the map. We have like one generator top 3, we have one generator like bottom 5, and then we have Shack. So, you know, all things considered, you definitely can still work with this, but it's still pretty dicey. The survivors have to be on top of their game.
Wow. Yeah, still getting the tagger on 2 teacher though, and not getting the pallet drop is good. Yeah, there's not very many resources in this gen setup as well. We do have a filler into a 4 lane, but a beautiful read by Gibbsy. That's going to be the first elimination of the trial, and dare I say, this is definitely 4Kable. Gibbsy not wanting to break the hook in the 3 gen. It will respawn though. I do remember that as a feature that they added to the game, and everyone else has to slowly and steadily get out of this gen setup, get the resets going, and just play it slow. But Gibbsy does spot out the reset here down at deep 6, and this is really awkward for Naros. Oh, but a beautiful hit take. The dead hard gets used anyway though. Oh my goodness, did Gibbsy go for the hit tanker assuming that they were going to use dead hard?
Potentially, that could have been the play. Honestly, I didn't catch on to that, but no, you actually might be right. Ultimately, it does result in Stay Naros going down at the moment, so he'll be out of the game, and there's only 2 of them remaining in the trial. Snortor trying to reset himself in the background. So close. Quinn just working a generator in the distance too, but we managed to catch out and hear Nortor just sit and edge map. So that's going to be Nortor on the ground there. And if we don't have an unbreakable in play, we are going straight back onto Quinn here. So back in the phase, we are going to be going to the 3 split on the generators here. And this is just going to be Quinn conceding the defeat, unfortunately, just sitting at the generator here. He knows that he just wants to go straight into the next set. No, he's not going to be happening anytime soon. It's just better to go through to the next set, and hopefully they can take the Lich for themselves. At the moment, Diamond Dogs are currently in the lead 2-0. You do need 3 sets of 3 win sets to win the entire series. So Diamond Dogs looking extremely in favor of this. Disregarding the fact that our VIP said it was 80-20 against them. Even when you say that, when you look at the group stage and you look at where the placements were and when these 2 actually did face off, because they did face off, they were in the same group. You had Kaitokids and back, because if Diamond Dogs do, they'll be going to the grand final meeting Chinese Dragons. But however, that has yet to remain as our, you know, our killer ranger. It's going to be our serves on the exact same roster. It's going to be Quinn, 2 teacher, Stay Naros, and Nortor on the survivor side. So now, Killer loading up one side. Our survivors are going to be spawning over at the 8 side here, taking the break onto these main building doors. Now, this is pretty typical gameplay. You'll see many killers spawn into the map over at 1, and they'll take advantage over breaking those main doors to get main nice and weak, ready for chase for our killers. And our survivors obviously won't be able to loop it as effectively as they once were. But regardless, this is going to be Ranger looking over at corner 11 to see if he can see any stealth outs. But we've already rotated to main, our closest survivor being Quinn at this time. So with the flight in hand, we are going to be checking on our uncorrupted generators here over at 4 as we see the scratch marks leading into the edge map here. Nortor ready for that pre-stealth there. Everybody back on the pre-stealth. We see Stay Naros, who's even closer at a very weak loop here. Oh. We are going to be crouching the skulls very nicely, but we're going to be dropping the pallet on the wrong side. Almost getting a little bit antsy there was Ranger, but managed to get the tag there. Now we're forced over into Shack, an even stronger loop than main, and the door has not been broken on Shack, but we vaulted the window very nicely. Light has saved us, and it is giving us a whole bunch of life in itself as we drop this pallet here over at Shack. That enables us to make main. Ranger playing the mind games here. I think we've stayed, at the Shack here. The comms probably to stay at Shack, as you know, I think Quinn would have been on that generator over at main. So with not a whole lot to work with, he does have the carriage pallet, but does he make it in time? I think he does, with the red stain coming in so close with the pallet with the hand holding up our pallet. Thank you, ma'am. We're just going to be going down just before we make corner 8 for a nice quick down for Ranger, and this potentially could even be the pain resonance, or even worse, a basement hook here. Spoker.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, says Rang as he takes Naros into the basement hook. Now, I believe we have a these are 3 separate gens actually. Now that I'm looking at it, this is really rough for Ranga actually, and I think main building obviously getting done. You generally see it happening on Dead Dog early on, and there's alert once again giving us some info. Honestly, man, such a nice perk. That's the highlight for today for me. Is just how insanely strong having that just in-hand aura revealed so consistently is. I'm a bit sad that we're on Dead Dog right now and it's not Wraith, but if Kaitokids brings it back, we might make it to that tiebreaker, which you know I'm fiending for it. You know I want to see it.
Yeah, 100%. I want to see it too, definitely. And we need to get this Survivor out the basement first if we are able to take it back to the raid set. We are going to be able to get it. Unfortunately, we do have the skulls there and only 15 seconds worth of endurance here. So can we get our body block on?
Nice.
Unfortunately for Ranga, we're just going to be evading that entirely. Naros now has made the LNT, vaulting the window at the correct second. Oh no! It wasn't like last set where we had just got hit with endurance. We went down. There was not enough time to teach Cracker save. Let's go! And they're up and away again. 40 for the body block is to teacher. Naros does need it. He doesn't. He's running to his corner death location over at 1, and this has turned the tides of the match as things were looking up for Ranga. They are looking all of a sudden down as the tunnel out is back in the game, crouching the skulls. They're winning the 50. What is that? It's no way. They've been hit by a shotgun. Oh my god.
He got shot. But no, it's you could see the comms happening in real time as the gen pop happens and Naros taking the chase, knowing that he's probably going to get downed in that tile to play for the firecracker save, even with the buffed BT off hook. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. We'd love to see it, but it's, yeah, this has just put Ranga in such a worse position now. And this is exactly what Kaitokids needed for the comeback. We get info onto Quinn, who's been trying to work this edge map gen. Should be able to make it back around. It just has to dodge out the skeletons. No, he gets it right this time, placing them at just the right distance where the skeleton spawns on the survivor, unless they were pre-crouching, which is kind of hard to do on ping, because when you go for the pre-crouch, you're just immediately giving up a bunch of distance, and a lot of times Lich players will capitalize on that, knowing that they know that you know that they know that they're going to do that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely. But if we haven't noticed yet, Smoker, we've been hooked in the middle of all these 4 generators. Look at that. We have access to holding 6, well, access to holding, I'm not going to say the funny other number, but 8 and gallows, and yeah, it's just a mess right now. That generator on the upstairs too is just not workable. Yeah, this is completely holdable from Ranga. He has sight on everything. The generators, the survivors, just standing on the outside of Shack because it's all so open. And now with that unhook here, Quinn really has to turn on the jets. Now he's kind of caught here over at 10, anticipating the skulls. Ranga's just waiting for them to come back as he's taking pallet possession. There goes the skulls.
Nice.
We get it that time. We win it that time. We're ready for a pallet save here, so we might even play greedy for the pallet. We've dropped it preemptively. Maybe a body coming in. Yeah, if we weren't going to be able to get that pallet save, we're definitely going in for the body, and that's going to be Nortor taking the hit, and we're going to commit back onto Quinna. No, we're diverting to Nortor here. We want the the pain resonance if we can get it, because we definitely need it to take into effect. That's Nortor vaulting the backside of main, now opting to use the toilet pallet, the majestic toilet pallet, mesmerizing, insatiable. Pallet head goes up, pallet stays up. We don't make 10, unfortunately. We go down just before making 10. Not enough progression in the background over at that bottom side to get the final generator done, but it is 50%, but it is going to be regressed at the moment when we do take that hook here. So this is going to be a quick pull on the side of Quinn. Our killer is forced to kind of protect his generators. He can't really afford to chase Quinn, so that means Quinn's just going to get the pull regardless. And like clockwork, he does so in the background. And now we're going to be slapping that pallet in the backside of Ranga. That's going to be True Teacher, who is the savior last time, and maybe he'll be the savior again. Now evading every single hit that Ranga needs on him at the moment. He has a whole lot of distance over to the correct side of the map, but ultimately does just get tagged eventually and has to rotate back to the top side. But we are committing here. We want that pain resonance as quickly as humanly possible. But I mean, short filler, not really much to do. Trying to hit him over the fence, that is crazy, but we do manage to once again, play around it very effectively on the side of two teacher. Crouching the skulls,
Oh my.
hit take. Oh, underneath our nose was Quinn, ready for it again. And in the background, Nortor just slamming out those pistons. Quinn now has been diverted and we're back onto two teacher. Ranger forced to take ground back into the 3 generators. It is over towards 8, 7, and Gallows. 9 goes down, pallet goes up. Nortor's going to be going down just before he makes the pallet again. No, wait, hang on a second. The clean break clutch. That was just milliseconds off, and we're greeting the carriage pallet again. But unfortunately, no Shack's pallet to our avail. We're going to be opting to die in the basement, and it's enough to get it done. Round of applause. Bow down to Kaitokids. They're trying to bring it home as much as they can.
I think this is just by far the most insane sequence of events that I have seen in a very long time. What a turn of events! Kaitokids making a well-earned and deserved comeback here as we get the basement hook, and I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a 3 out here. But with the basement hook, actually, if Ranger doesn't actually stick around here, which obviously he is, that it could actually be playable. Like, the 15 seconds is enough to get from the basement to the door if we block properly, if we have our survivors ready to take the hint tags. So Ranger is blocking the correct door here, so this should just be a free 3 out here and a all right, let me count up the stages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stages if all 3 get out.
Yeah, it will be 6-3
Wow.
if all of them get out right now. And I don't think they should play for this pool. Yeah, they definitely should just take the outs here because, I mean, at best case scenario, you send the death. So to read from the rule book underneath survivor disconnections, unintentional disconnections may result in point penalties at referee's discretion when the referee believes it has negatively affected the killer. Now, this is a gray area considering the match had just started. There was really no telling where the match was going to go. So technically, we were going to penalize, given the fact that if we had a survivor that was inconsistent with the ping and was keep on disconnecting, it would have been applied. However, Diamond Dogs have decided to put on somebody else for the job, being Promo. As Ranger was the main survivor for the job at this point, Promo will be subbing in and since they are affecting their match quality and trying to, you know, make sure like they wanted their best survivor lineup, and I'm pretty sure that Promo is well and capable. Obviously, you know how it is. Sometimes you just have your teammates dedicated to certain strong areas of their playstyle. But regardless, I'm fairly sure Promo will do an exceptional job. As we do take the first chase onto Philly right here, he will be dropping the pallet in front of our killer's face. That is going to be the blind onto, I do believe it is Nortor playing our killer. Yes, as I did not get to mention the rest of the lineup, it is Nortor on the killer, Gibbsy, Supersaurus, and Philly Fry alongside Promo. So what can these boys do? They are chasing up 5 stages. Our killer is chasing 7 stages, and with these 2 very strong pallets out of the game very quickly, this can prove to be detrimental a little bit later in the game. But look at that gen potion in the background. As a result of this chase with no tag, we do have the double up over at 1 there. That's going to be both Gibbsy and Promo off the generator. Promo into 1, Gibbsy into 2. Gibbsy have a pallet at his disposal, and now Promo caught at the corner here. I'm not too sure if he'll have a pallet on the outside of 1 here, and does. But with the pallet being held up by the hand here, this is going to spell a pretty early tag. Yes, Nortor getting that nice tag there, looking a little bit ping heavy, but unfortunately that's just how the way the cookie crumbles when you do verse SEA teams, when you are an OCE survivor. Regardless, in the background, Gibbsy trying to get back on that generator, and we're just going to be following the chase onto Promo and trying to get him down as quickly as possible. Spoker.
I'm really surprised that we're not seeing Philly go for the Ruin Cleanse. I think it was pretty obviously revealed to him at the tile he was chasing at near the shack, but instead opting to just go for a completely other gen. Dodging out the skeletons, but at what cost? We get that first down. The gen near main building does pop, and main building is going to get popped as well, with really good progress from Philly on Gallows as well. Okay, going for the Gallows gen is very brave, and it's going to be getting hit with the paint res. Dodged it at the perfect time, but Nordo's going to be flying straight over. And with Ruin still being up and the totem near that Gallows gen, I don't know. I really feel like that totem needs to be done first before going for a gen like this, because a lot of the time that's just been committed into this gen is going to be slowly regressing away. Really well played to force the drop there, but the balanced landing is going to allow Philly to go to the main building, and Nordo cannot commit to that as the unhook happens in the distance. Nortor heading straight back to secure that tunnel out, but instead we see Supersaurus here.
Yeah, and he's going to be taking the next chase up. So we're not going for the tunnel out just yet. We are committing the fresh. Nortor really wanting maybe another stack of pain resonance or something. He's opted to divert here after baiting out the front of main with that big eye of Vecna going towards the corner there. We are not able to spot out Promo because he's just chilling up on the top corner of main there. After dropping down through this drop down section, he will be rotating to the front of main and now only has the window to his disposal. Does also have the back window there, but opts not to use it. Opts to actually use this front main window, trying to bait out a head-on play or something that... Oh, it was a head-on play. And there we go. That is the blind, and that is the stun, and that's forced Nortor to divert and go for a different survivor entirely and ditch the tunnel out.
Oh no, we do have the oh wait, no, it wasn't balance landing, it was sprint burst. My apologies. Really, really well played by Philly then. That's did you think it was sprint burst as well, or am I crazy?
There used to be a set of boxes on the corner there, and I did learn this from our streamer Broken, who just used to kind of drop down the boxes and use sprint burst as it, like, and pretend it was balance landing. But I wasn't too sure, honestly. I'd think that it was obviously sprint burst, just given
oh
the
my god,
nature
take
of
that
the
boy to the casino right now.
He's winning all the kind of gambles. Get him on the slot machine off the pokies right now. Philly Fry is now just got to be greeting this pellet over at 3 and making distance all the way into the window laid ever so perfectly for him. Is now going to be forced over this pellet.
My
Wins
goodness.
the stun, the blind coming in. Nortor being violated right now, and I'm pretty sure he's not happy about it.
Oh my goodness gracious, do not chase that boy Philly Fry. Goodness. As we fly back over, I think Nortor is just as surprised as I am that the Ruin Totem hasn't been taken out yet, because that Gallows gen, Nortor's going to be clinging onto it desperately as all the chase is being taken out here. Goes for the spell fake and doesn't go for the mage hand, which is good to see. Are we going to dodge the skeletons? Well played by Supersaurus. Honestly, Supersaurus has been performing really, really well. I think I used to be on a team with him a while ago, and seeing him improve so much is so nice to see. So very good stuff.
He's playing absolutely incredible now, taking the chase over to main, nice and far away from where the gens are being worked. And we do have the bodies here from Gibbsy if we're ready to take them. Nortor, with only one stage in hand, I mean, to put it in retrospect for everybody watching, he needs another 6. And at a time like this, where we have 3 generators remaining, a very, very unsavory split, and so much work to do, it's looking extremely unlikely that that condition is going to be met. He has to play extra aggressive on the slug, and he probably does have to get a pain resonance at some point because the survivors are just playing through his ruin like it was never there. And as we do have the skulls here ready to take into effect, Philly Fry has crouched them impeccably, and now just going to be vaulting the L straight into the T. Gibbsy ready for the hit if we did need it, but we will never tag. Does he have a pallet at the carriage? It does, but it is dropped. He's going to be getting slapped through that, and that's going to be the final generator of the trial proccing for the 1 stage as it currently stands. You could just kind of ditch whoever's the last person in chase is because you don't really need them. We are going to be going to the door here where we see scratch marks alluding into one. I'm not too sure who's called out here. It is Supersaurus taking on this chase. In the background, you see Philly Fry over at that 4 gate, and that's going to be open with the remaining 3 survivors left in the trial, ready to get out. We crouch the skulls as well, just to rub it all in, and that's going to be the bodies coming in for the 1 stage game there, Spoker.
Wow, I am honestly just